So we're going to spend the next few minutes, I'm going to try to get through this in about 30 minutes, talking to you about a new program that Zoracle Profiles has that will help you as franchisors do some instant Zee-to-Zor matching. This is for franchisors that work currently or are considering working with franchise brokers. If you're getting leads from franchise brokers, then the SpotOn match is what I want to talk to you about. So that's me. I've been in the world of franchising for 26 years. I've been creating assessment tools in the franchise space since 1993. Everything we do is focused on franchisee, franchisor fit. So Zoracle works specifically in the world of franchising. We believe each franchise system is indeed unique and therefore needs someone that fits specifically within your franchise system. So all of our tools are designed to assess your franchise system, assess your current franchisees, and of course determine if a prospective franchisee is indeed someone that's going to fit well within your system and perform well. All of our tools are customizable, they're modular, and they grow as your system grows. But the biggest difference between Zoracle and other profiling tools out there is what we call a meta-analysis approach. We use 7 statistically validated sciences to determine who your candidate is, to get a deeper understanding of who your candidate is. And I'm going to share with you a little bit about those sciences. But bottom line, our focus at Zoracle has always been on 2 things. Does this prospective franchisee fit within your organization? Are they going to ramp up well, retain well, be satisfied, validate well? And ultimately, how are they going to perform? Are they going to be folks that have year-over-year growth? Are they going to plateau? What's going to happen in terms of their overall performance? So I mentioned that we use something called a meta-analysis approach. And if you want more information about this, please reach out to us. But I just wanted to do like a 2-minute what the sciences are. One of our sciences comes from Stanford Research Institute. It's on the values and motives of a franchisee. What drives, what motivates them to do what they do. More importantly, however, we know statistically that when a franchisee is in alignment with your values as a franchisor, not only are they a better fit and more compatible and happier, but they ultimately also perform better. We also use the science of Neil Churchill and the Carruthers Institute, a science called Stages of Growth. This looks at the stage of growth of a franchisor and also looks at the challenges or what we call crises that any franchisor is going to go through as they are growing. More importantly, we want to know, does your prospective franchisee fit within the stage of growth you currently are, and can they grow with you? There are some franchisees that do better in smaller franchise systems that are dynamic and don't have a whole lot of rules yet, and then other franchisees that do much better in legacy brands or franchise systems that are much more plug and play. The third piece of science that we use is a cultural science out of the University of Michigan. We look at you as a franchisor to determine what your culture is. What are your best practices? What are your, the environment that you're living? What are you rewarding your franchisees for? So in part, this is values, but in a larger part, it's about the best practices that your franchise system has. Of course, we want to make sure your prospective franchisee fits into that culture. We've all had experiences where it wasn't our employer and it wasn't us, but we were a bad fit within a particular culture. It was just different than who we were. The fourth piece of science is William Marston's work. This is no different than any other personality test that you probably have looked at, the DISC, the Predictive Index, the Myers-Briggs. It's the same philosophy of the 5-factor personality assessment. We simply call it the work style. This gives us information as to, once that franchisee is in that business, where's his primary focus? Is it on projects? Is it on people? Is it big picture? Is it more task-oriented, etc.? The fifth piece of science, one of my favorite, comes out of Gallup Research and the Strengths Finder. We do an assessment that assesses the top 5 strengths of a prospective franchisee and your current franchisees. And then we show you correlations to how those strengths equate into hard skills like marketing skills, operational and finance skills, customer service skills, sales skills. So we measure 8 core competencies. The next 2 pieces, Dr. Robert Nedford's work called Focus Preference, is a piece of sports psychology that lets us know, can your prospective franchisee move from one part of the business to another part of the business without making errors and making mistakes or losing any kind of inertia or momentum that they have built. And then the final piece of science is emotional and social intelligence. Dr. Daniel Goleman's work, emotional intelligence, having to do with all of those aspects that a franchisee needs to manage themselves, manage their emotions, manage their thoughts, manage their mouth and their budget. It's about self-discipline, self-control, self-motivation. And then the social intelligence has to do with all of those markers around managing others, employees. Am I a good leader? Can I build a team? Can I deal with conflict? How optimistic am I? How much initiative am I going to take? These kinds of markers is what we are looking for. So any one of these assessments in and of themselves is a great tool, and you can get out on the open marketplace. You can get a good personality assessment. You can get a good values assessment. You can get a good cultural assessment or skills assessment. What makes Zoracle unique is how we put those sciences together into a single questionnaire that takes about 15 minutes for a prospective franchisee to get through. So think of it like going to your doctor and you have a fever. The doctor isn't going to just take your temperature and tell you that you have typhoid fever. He's instead going to take your temperature, take your blood pressure, take some blood chemistries, and run some other tests before he comes back with conclusion of what might be causing that particular fever. So we do the same thing with our meta-analysis. It's several sciences, several studies under a single assessment that then reports out specifically as it relates to franchising. Does this prospective franchisee fit within your franchise organization, and will they perform? So the way that we do that is through what we call a reverse engineering process. We sit down with our franchisors and we set some standards and benchmarks in place. These are customized ideals that you will determine what causes your franchisee to be in the top 10 versus in the low 10. Is it that they ramp up more quickly? Is it that they have stronger sales skills? What is their financial performance year over year? Is it that they participate and embrace your systems and processes? You will set the standards. Most of these standards will be financial standards. And then we will assess all of your current franchisees, or as many as we can get through the questionnaire, and look for corollaries. Why do these 10 franchisees seem to have steady year-over-year growth? Why do these 10 tend to ramp up more quickly rather than the others? Why are these so satisfied and content and validating well? We're looking at the corollaries psychographically to the standards and benchmarks you have set in place. We then deliver what's called a blueprint, a top performer blueprint that shows you categorically what it is that's different about your A players versus your B players and your C players. I can tell you, having done this now for 26 years, it's different from franchise organization to franchise organization of what is causing, from a psychographic perspective, someone to succeed and someone to fit well within in your system. Once we have the blueprint, we write custom algorithms. These are targets that we want your prospective franchisee to hit. And we provide what's called an eclipse report, which is a report that categorically compares your prospective franchisee to your high performers. It lets you know instantly if your prospect looks like, acts like, has the same skills as, and will fit within your system and likely be a high performer. Do they look like your current high performers? It's an Eclipse report. You're seeing one page of it. If you're interested in a copy of the Eclipse report, feel free to take the assessment from our website or reach out to us, and we'll send you some sample Eclipse reports so you can see it in depth. So we've been doing this a long time. We work with companies of all sizes where we've gone in and we've done this blueprinting process. We've written the algorithms, and these franchisors are in turn receiving Eclipse reports on their organic leads. They run the prospect through the assessment and they get back a Eclipse report that says, yes, this is a 92% fit, and here are the areas that might need some additional coaching or training towards. So we deal with the problems that you deal with. We know that the cost of franchise acquisition is high, which is in large part why we want to introduce you to a new product called the SpotOn Match. It's going to be released on the 25th of March. You're the first group of franchisors that are hearing about it. It's something we've been working on for almost 2 years. We hope you're going to get excited about it and be one of our early adopters. But it releases on the 25th. It's called the SpotOn Match. It will deal with the issues that you're currently dealing with. We know that the cost of acquisition is high, and that if you have a poor fitting franchisee, that they will cost you more to train and support. In fact, our research says 140% higher to train and support a B player over an A player. That's a lot of resources for you as a franchisor. Never mind, a poor fitting franchisee tends to validate poorly and seems to never be content or satisfied. Something never quite feels right for them. It's kind of like having a rock in their shoe, right? And we know that a poor fitting franchisee has difficulty complying and embracing systems for whatever reason, sometimes causing litigation issues that we have to deal with. And never mind, a poor fitting franchisee tends to retain at lower rates than our high performing franchisees, in large part because they're not a good fit, or we have to ask them to leave because they're not performing as we would like them to perform. Now, on the opposite side, this is why this is for franchisors working with brokers. The brokers are also dealing with issues. They're representing sometimes 300 plus franchise concepts, and it's almost impossible for them to fully understand those concepts inside and out and know what makes a franchisee a good fit in your organization. Why should I introduce this prospective franchisee to this franchisor? And there's no way for them to also understand hundreds of franchise candidates, many of which they are dealing with via the telephone. There's not a face-to-face like we may have seen many years ago. And in the past, there was no data-driven or scientific way to facilitate a broker doing a good fit to a Zor. They would have to know as much as possible about the Zor, but still you are getting leads that may be slightly above what you're getting organically through internet marketing or social media or some of the expos you may be doing. But the franchise broker may not know exactly what makes someone a good fit or what's going to cause them to be a high likelihood of success. So the SpotOn Match and the SpotOn Eclipse will help you know if the broker's prospect is likely going to be a high performer. Do they look like your high performers from a scientific, unbiased perspective? So going forward, the brokers that are currently working with Zoracle that already have SpotOn profile accounts, they will automatically, from their dashboard, begin to receive matches. If you as a franchisor have done the blueprint, you've done the research with us, and you wish to participate, all you need to do is let us know you want to participate. You want to give this data to the franchise broker. So the broker will instantly know that their candidate is a fit with you. Now, what you're looking at right now is the broker's dashboard. It will let them know, in this case, the client, William Hampton, fits really well with these following 5 franchise systems. A 99% overall fit in this case for Office Pride and Care Patrol, and 97% fit with Waxing the City, et cetera, et cetera. So this will let the broker know very quickly what the fit is, and in each of the sciences, how much of a fit. They can then directly from their dashboards register and or send you this data. The data then will populate inside your own dashboard, and you will receive a comprehensive Eclipse report that shows you exactly where the strengths and the weaknesses are and where they compare to your high performers. But in your dashboard, you will see that these candidates coming from Rocky Balboa, the consultant, these are folks that have been sent by that franchisor, and you will know quickly if they are indeed a fit. This will be done automatically. The broker will simply click a button and forward it to you. You don't have to reassess that franchisee. The data will simply come across your dashboard. In the past, when a broker sent you a lead and told you they took a Zoracle assessment, you would have to come to us and we would have to almost manually calculate things, or you would have to retest that prospective franchisee. So we're eliminating that step. If it's coming from the broker, you will automatically know if that franchisee or prospective franchisee is a good fit. You will statistically know that, and you will get an Eclipse report immediately to know if this individual has a high likelihood of success. Now we're rolling out a few months down the road, a recycle and co-op. Now, when I first brought this up a few years ago, I had broker organizations and franchisors giggle and laugh at me, the idea that a franchisor would share his or her leads with another franchisor. But if you are getting organic leads through expos and marketing, etc., and you statistically can see that this is a 78% fit or an 82% fit, it's not a perfect fit, but the candidate is a great candidate, just not for your system. They likely will fit better. You will have the opportunity if you choose. You don't have to. These are your leads. You own them. Zoracle doesn't own them. You own them. You can choose to recycle, and it will recalculate and show you the 3 or 4 franchisors where they might be a better fit than they are with you. This will allow you then to forward that lead to another franchisor if you choose to. Again, this is completely voluntarily done, and you can work out some kind of co-op arrangement where you can share that lead, and hopefully they do the same for you. You spent a lot of money for that franchise candidate, and if they're not a good fit, if you could make some wise introductions, that would be great. We have franchisors that are already doing that with us. They'll have a great candidate that call us and say, great candidate, but not for us. Who can we give this lead to? And now you can do it automatically straight from your dashboard. So bottom line, Zoracle is all about helping you facilitate right fit franchisee candidates into your franchise system. We know when they are compatible, they're going to validate better, retain better, and comply better. We also know if they have the proper competencies, the social intelligence, the emotional intelligence, the sales skills, the operational skills, if they have those competencies, they're going to ramp up better, and the cost to support and train them is going to be reduced, and you'll have stronger year-over-year performance. This is simply a way to scientifically measure, using a reverse engineering process, who are your top performers, mid performers, low performers currently in your franchise system, and what differentiates them? What are the correlations to ramp up, to performance, to retention, etc., and what are the causations that are causing someone to perform well within your franchise system? And then providing back to you the data on that candidate. Now, let's talk about next steps, because I promised you I would only take 30 minutes of your time, and I want to answer any questions you have. If you are already a client, and I know there's several of you here that are with Zoracle, and you have a license and a subscription for the Eclipse, all you have to do is tell us, I want to add the SpotOn match. This will get you 1 year free matches from all brokers who are also signed up. So you'll likely need to let us know what broker organizations you work with so we can populate your data for that broker organization. But any broker that is using the SpotOn match and is using the SpotOn profile tool will now have access to sending you Eclipse reports and knowing if you are a good match for their candidate. Our hope is that you will start to get leads that are not just higher quality leads because they are now matches, but that brokers will begin to show your concept more frequently because they now better understand what it takes. Brokers have a tendency, as you know and I know, to have what they call their horses, 10 or 12 brands that they know inside and out, and every franchise candidate gets plugged into those 10 or 12. If you want to become more top of mind with your brokers, the SpotOn match should help you do just that, where a broker now knows exactly who your candidate is, and it'll come up on their dashboard to show Sharkies in this case, or whatever the concept is, and they'll be able to immediately send it to you without you having to redo. So this is, if you're already a client, you don't need to do anything but let us know you want in, and you'll also receive free matches for the next year. If you do not have a Eclipse subscription, but you are getting a SpotOn profile subscription, you haven't done the research yet, you're not getting the Eclipse report, you're only getting the SpotOn profile, you're going to want to upgrade to the Eclipse and also ask for the match subscription. Doing so gets you 1 year's match, but it will require you doing the research so we know what makes your franchisees successful and upgrading to the Eclipse report. Now, if you're a baby Zor and you work exclusively with brokers, you don't have organic leads, every deal comes through brokers, and there's a few of you out there that's the situation that you're in, then we still need to do the research on you to determine what makes somebody successful in there. But you may not need to have an Eclipse subscription since you're not getting organic leads. You only need the lead from the Zor and get the Eclipse report directly from the broker. So sign up for the SpotOn Match subscription, which requires, of course, the research, and you'll get 6 months free matches. Now, normally the research is, depending on the size of the franchisor, will run anywhere from $1,500 to $6,000. So we want you to participate in the SpotOn match. You will be pioneers, and you will give us feedback as to, is this working? Is this getting you better candidates from your brokers? And of course, allow you then, when you're ready, to also recycle and get compensated for recycling if you wish. We're going to be doing the research at $1,295 instead of the $15,000 to $6,000 to get you started. So obviously, you'll just want to reach out to Phil or myself to get more details about this, but we wanted to let you know this is being released on the 25th. If you're already a client that's getting the Eclipse, all you need to do is tell us you want involved. If you're using the SpotOn profile and you don't get the Eclipse, upgrade. And if you only work with brokers and you don't do any organic leads and you just want the SpotOn match, then reach out to us so we can do the research.